of any, archaeology volunteer opportunities?
Campsville usually has some. If you're willing to travel.
Yeah.
It's like an hour away.
You wanna do the order,
Right?
Lauren,
So,
so that Jeannie can hold
Oh, hi.
it here.
I don't think it's required. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's
that'd
optional.
We had a forum.
But I'm-
Yes, yeah.
Well, it'd be the only.
All right, well, I think we'll get started with our meeting. Welcome, everyone. We are being recorded. And it looks like Liz is online joining us. Thank you. Hi, Liz. And Scott Davis appears to be a guest. Did you have anything you wanted to add today, Scott, or are you just here for the fun of it?
Hi, I'll just here for the fun of it, I suppose.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right, then I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And please do a roll call.
Okay, so Carrie,
Here,
Ginger, I am here, Emily Horton, here, Jean, here, Jeannie, okay. Liz, here, hi Liz, Laura Jordan,
here.
Joe Oldkey, Jerry Pinkner, no Jerry yet, okay.
This is my second time.
Emily Hickson Shepherd,
Right there.
Yoo-hoo, and Yvonne,
Here.
okay. So we're waiting on Jerry.
All right, did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
They look good.
Someone wanna make a motion to approve the minute?
Jean, did I spell your name?
I so do.
Did you say?
Anybody want to second? the motion?
I second that. Spelling. Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Motion seconded to approve the minute.
Thank you.
We do not have any visitors that want to speak tonight, so we'll just go on with the agenda. Agenda. Old business, Green Our City updates. Well, the first thing on here is the award.
Yeah, so on behalf of Green Space Committee, we received it's the Gold Leaf Award for the International Society of Arboriculture. We were presented this award at the Midwest ISA Conference, January 26th, and I do have the award here. This is for our Greener City Initiative, for all the hard work that we've all done to start planting trees.
Well done, you guys.
So
Well done us
Gold Leaf Award.
Standing
for
landscape.
the ISA, the International
See them?
Society of.
So on the bottom of the awards, I believe, yeah.
This is
Ooh,
exciting. Yeah.
I'm gonna, when you get
It's
that
so
back.
pretty.
That is pretty.
Yeah. Good job.
Do we display it at City Hall? What is that?
I think it's gonna live at City Hall, unless, yeah, anybody has. I
Travel to each of our, I'm just
just
kidding.
wanna put that in front of it.
Oh,
I mean, unless you wanted to buy a house.
can you see?
That's cool, yeah. Yay.
Yeah, so that was the awards luncheon we mentioned last time we were here. It was fun to be part of that.
The description, so on the bottom corner, you're reading right there, do you want to read out loud
Sure.
for people who haven't seen it?
Gold Leaf Award, City of Webster Groves Green Space Advisory Committee. The Gold Leaf Award is designed to recognize an individual, organization, or community in the Midwestern chapter area for outstanding Arbor Day programs or community landscape beautification projects. This is an opportunity for the Midwestern chapter to recognize projects that have had an impact on a community or region with an international award. Projects should show an impact over several years.
So,
Okay. Joe has one there. Well, I'll take, oh, you want it? Okay. Yeah, I think I will.
so congratulations, everybody.
Yeah,
Well done, well done.
everybody.
Did you go receive
Really
it?
excited about it.
Yeah, Carrie and I received it.
Yeah, how was the lunch? Was it good? Like a lot of people there for
200
get
some
awards?
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How many?
200.
Oh, wow, nice problem. That's great.
were a lot of people getting this award or was it just
No.
us?
We're the only,
Just,
yeah, there's other awards
Yeah.
given to different individuals, but the awards that were handed out were for just like recognized on the Midwest level. So like ours was elevated to like be internationally recognized. So
Awesome.
Yeah, pretty
Well
cool.
done, job well done. folks.
yeah, thank you.
And we, Joe and I, well, I told you, I got an email from Dr. Peoples and we were communicating and we let her know about this award. And she suggested that maybe we could take it to city council on the 20th.
Oh,
So
That's a great idea.
I don't know how we confirm that we are on the agenda for that. Should I ask Katie?
We can't, or I thought Dr. Peoples was gonna be here tonight, but
She's,
I see Scott on there. So I wasn't
I'll-
sure.
I can get it. It will be on the agenda for
okay.
February 20th.
Great.
Okay, do you know what time we should be there? We just want to make sure everybody knows, everyone is invited to that if you want to
I'm
come.
assuming it's city council and not work session,
Yes, ma'am.
probably 7:30 unless it's a fun.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes we have funky start times, but usually it's 7:30.
Okay, 7:30.
So I'd plan on that, and if it's
What
good,
day?
Tuesday, the 20th,
Okay.
so 2 weeks from tomorrow. And it's just up in the city hall chambers upstairs.
And probably just like a photo opportunity thing. Okay,
And recognition.
and if we have to say anything, Joe will be happy to talk.
I could Sing a song or anything like that. Look.
Okay. Then, well, are there any other questions about that?
Did you apply?
So we nominated Green Space for the Midwest level of award. Midwest says, we like this, we're gonna submit it to the International Society of Horticulture and see what happens. And so we just wanted to get like just Midwest recognition. And they took everything that Carrie submitted and that and all the work we've done and pushed it forward, and here we are. So,
nice.
yeah. So thanks for everybody's hard work, and we're just
Yeah.
getting started, so.
Yeah.
We need to do a lot more tree planting.
Mhm.
Do you?
We gotta earn this award.
We already earned it. We gotta keep it up. Yeah. Okay, then the tentative schedule for the Green Our City project for this coming year is still tentative. We are gonna be, I think, meeting with Public Works to schedule a timeline. We still haven't gotten confirmation on that date, but they're in the process of confirming that. So we've had some communication with them and I feel confident that we're gonna progress with that soon, which is really important because, you know, there's a lot of planning that goes into the project, and the sooner we lay out those dates and the schedule, the better off we are for everyone. And then we did order the tags for the trees. Yvonne paid for them with her card. So thank you, Yvonne. Those should be coming in March. I think middle of March is what they said. They look really good. I mean, they look basically like the tag that I'd shared with you guys. Bigger, you know, and it's black and white on the back, but it's gonna come with a little string on it. We can hang it on the tree. So Joe, I was figuring that when you and I did spring inspections, we could just put the tags on the
Okay.
trees.
Sounds good.
Okay. Whenever we decide to do that. Okay, I think that's it for Green Our City right now. Any questions? Okay. Trees of distinction is our next item of old business, and I feel like we got that pinned down, April 17th at Southwest Park, 5 p.m. for the ceremony. Linda Green is posthumously our tree steward. And we've identified a tree of distinction, a sugar maple on Chestnut.
Yeah, did anybody get those photos?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what do we need? Yvonne, what do you, what else do you need us to do?
So is that the one then?
Do we need to put it to a vote officially?
Well, let's, yes, you wanna make. a
So I guess
motion?
motion to approve the sugar maple at Chestnut Hill. All in favor?
The tree of
Tree distinction of
distinction.
2024.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, Jerry said
Oh, hey,
aye as well. Jerry's here.
Hi, Jerry, I got you.
So as far as the award goes, last year, I think we gave it both. And then.
Yeah.
Sort of,
Little flag.
so who's that actually go to?
the owner.
Who's
of
the owner?
tree.
It's in like a common space and a resident in that neighborhood nominated the tree.
Here's that
It's
picture.
owned by that neighborhood group. It has a representative. That email I send you guys. We could
Just give it
reach out to her. She's affiliated with.
Chestnut Hill.
Her name.
Okay, we'll, I guess that'll be
If you
the,
could get that information to me, then.
And we can maybe modify it.
Okay. And then do you want to give a book?
No,
Okay. Just the sign.
yeah. Just, should we make a motion about Linda, or is that just something we call? Any advice on that?
No, I would just make a motion.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion about Linda being the tree steward? this year?
I'll make a motion to make Linda the tree steward posthumous. Can't say that word.
All in-
Posthumously.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Do we want to make, have a plaque made to put in our tree marquee? at
Yes.
The rec center for her.
I think that would be
So
really
we
sweet.
could think of what we want to put on it, usually a couple lines. So sometime between now and the next meeting, and we'll just add that to our keyboard at the rec center.
Okay.
It's for trees, memorial trees, but I think since there's no one.
Right,
I'm sorry, I missed it. And
Yeah.
we'll let her family know that somebody will let her family know that she's getting like,
I got that.
okay.
I'll contact them. But I'm gonna wait until we
Us
get
again.
closer, I think.
yeah, and have the language and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, so that they know what we're saying.
Did that place do them like a mock-up?
Of the,
Yeah, like just
That
something
metal.
that you sign off, on, not like an actual proof, just a digital proof.
well. So if we could get a plaque like the ones we use on the benches on the trees. He's been doing it for so long, we just,
Say, do this, okay, about how many lines can it be?
I would say 3.
3, so maybe
The more lines, the
30.
smaller the print.
30
Yeah.
words max.
Something like that.
Well, if you all would maybe email me any suggestions that you have by next Tuesday, then I will compile that and edit it and get it to you afterwards. So what's next Tuesday?
The 13th.
Is it already? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so just email me.
It'll be-
uh, Email me your suggestions and I will put the information together for you.
Like a tree quote.
Well, we're probably gonna mention Linda specifically and
Yeah.
her service to the community.
Yeah, and usually you do sometimes people put date of birth, the timeline, but I don't know.
That she was on GSAC or that? she-
Her actual-
You could do either one. You could say served on Green Space Advisor. That might be nice.
I think we need to write something about how we're pursuing dark skies or something.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Anything else about is there anything you need us to do for the event itself?
I will need to write a work order for Jenny to make up a flyer. So we have the scouts. doing the flag
we're good.
ceremony. Okay, Joe, you're going to announce.
the tree of distinction.
And someone's going to get that information to me. And is someone going to contact the neighborhood associate? Okay.
Oh, I guess I just volunteered.
Thank
No,
you.
so I guess I'm doing that. Okay, yeah.
To at least get Joe the information.
Yeah, because I reached out and called an email and I never heard back.
I have a friend in the, I can text her right now if we need to. and
Okay,
She can
see
give me
if
the
someone
info.
can come
Is that
and
both you
receive
guys? Me to reach
That's
out to
cool.
her? All right, I'll reach out and see what she.
it. Okay, and then who wants to do Linda Green?
I can do it, but does anybody else feel like they really would like to?
Corin's a great speaker.
You don't have to.
I like Linda a lot.
Yeah.
Speak for her.
Okay,
Sorry to volunteer.
No, I was thinking about it.
Okay,
I
so,
can do that and see sort of stuff
Okay.
again if you want.
and then we'll need to get the. Seem like. To make sure the mayor has it in the calendar. Okay, and if not, Emily, can you say something if you, okay.
And that'll be on the 17th with the other,
17th, yeah.
I could try.
Yeah.
So we'll probably
Or you,
order some trees, not very many, Scott. Not the world record, international record. But we'll probably do a tree planting at 3 o'clock and probably more tree care, like spraying wood chips. And a little bit of tree care too in the park, starting at 3, so.
What time is the actual presentation? 5?
That's on the 17th.
yeah. So do you need help setting
Oh,
up?
and are you having a tree walk?
Yes, I was gonna talk about that.
Okay, so I'll need to add that to the flyer.
Is that part of the 5 o'clock thing or is that part of the?
It's after,
It's after.
But I want to add that to the flyer and the advertisement. so,
Yes.
Okay.
So do you need help setting up? Like for the ceremony itself?
I usually have staff will bring out the flag and
PA
the
system.
PA system, so. What
And
about
it's-
snacks? Do we wanna? Well, I usually get snacks for the volunteers, so we'll be,
Yes,
okay,
we can buy snacks.
okay,
We
You
have
have a
budget
budget.
money for that.
yes.
Do we show up to help plant trees?
You are,
Oh, yeah.
if you can, yes.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
And it's still Southwest Park.
can people do?
Yeah, so what time is that gonna start?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yes.
So
We'll
3
probably pre-dig the holes like we did before, and that way it'll just be a matter of the fun part, planting and mulching.
And just spread the word to everybody about the event. And once you get a flyer, maybe you can send it to me and I can distribute it to everyone.
Okay,
But then, yeah, we love for GSAC to be at the actual ceremony. So get there a little early if you want, just in case Yvonne needs.
Could you post a printable flyer?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be an advertisement.
Oh, okay,
And a
okay.
flyer.
Okay, great. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
And if people wanna help with the planting. Are we gonna put it like kind of thing?
yes,
online?
I'll link it to Civic Rec, so they can go and sign up on Civic Rec.
I'll mention it tomorrow at City Council.
Okay,
Okay, text has been sent to Chestnut Hill. We'll see.
Ginger, if you don't get anything back, let me know and I will try to get a hold of them.
Oh, she'll get back to me. She's my friend.
Okay. Okay, anything else about the tree sub distinction on Arbor Day celebration? Okay. So the Eco Ed series update. April, so we've been working, Corin and I've been working with the Sustainability Commission. We gave you guys an update on that. I think Karen Anderson from the Sustainability Commission is sort of the champion of the Eco Ed series this year. So she's doing a brunt of the legwork, marketing, organizing, all that stuff. So we've got like a tentative schedule set up and I'll get that to you guys when she drafts it up. But we are hosting 3 of the 6 events. April 17th, which is actually after the Arbor Day ceremony, we're going to be having a tree walk with Dave Gunn. He's an arborist. He has his own arboriculture company, but he worked, it's called Aesthetic Pruning,
Yeah.
I think, St. Louis. He worked for the Botanical Garden for a long time, and he's a great speaker. He speaks for them frequently, and he's gonna talk what I understand, he's gonna talk about kind of tree blindness, like, like people, like sometimes you don't recognize somebody's face, like most people just walk by a tree and don't even notice it. So he's gonna focus on, that connection between humans and trees. Anything to add to that? You talked to, okay.
No, not really.
So he wants to, I thought maybe we would do an inside presentation, but he really wants to do a walk and talk and, get up and close personal with the trees. So I'm excited about that. So that's April 17th at 6. It's like right after the ceremony.
Do we want to make it 5:30? Cause 6, I mean,
I think well,
the ceremony would be.
It's gonna be pretty quick.
are you
People
sure?
Might not hang around.
They're pretty quick. Pretty
Okay.
fast.
Yeah,
Is
if it's
the-
raining, it's really.
Is the
fast.
walk also Southwest Park? Is it all-
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah. And then on June 4th. At the library, so we're using the library as our venue again, this go round, June 4th at 7. If there's an event at the library, Karen wanted to keep them all the same time, so they're all gonna be at 7 if they're at the library.
idea.
June 4th, 7 PM, and it's gonna be about bees and Webster Groves, or pollinators and habitat, and Nicole Miller Stratman will be the presenter. I don't know if any of you have heard her speak before.
Do you want to have any kind of books or?
I do.
giveaway for?
I do.
You'll let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not heard her speak, but I've heard some really good things in the
Yeah.
community about her, so,
have too.
yeah.
She's a fun speaker. Yeah, I want to get the Heather Holmes book.
Okay.
Is
That'd
there
be
a set,
cool.
like, it's gonna be the first, whatever,
No, it
Okay.
didn't, it's not working out that way
Okay.
necessarily.
they're gonna be at the library and they'll be at 7 PM.
If they're at the library, they'll be at 7 PM. And like the tree walk is not at the library. And then our third one that we're hosting is about watersheds. And it's going to be in Larson Park. It's gonna be a walk through the watershed at Larson Park. Right now, that's tentatively September 4th at 6 PM. But I'll confirm the times, the dates are set. And I believe that sustainability has done a little bit of work on setting their dates and times. I just don't have that information yet, so I'll get it to you guys probably by next meeting. I'll just send it out as soon as I get it.
Who did you
if
say is
if-
talking? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I said, who did you say is speaking?
Oh, I didn't say, on September 4th,
Yeah.
David Wilson.
Okay.
He's an instructor in the sustainability department at Webster U, but he used to be the president of the Merrimack Watershed Recreational Watershed Association.
He spoke
And
to us, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he also worked for East West Gateway, and a big part of his work was related to watersheds.
Cool.
But the class that he's taught at Webster, he actually takes his students on a watershed walk.
Mhm.
Carla Ambrewster from Sustainability was describing that walk to us, and we thought it would be really great. It kind of reminds me in a way of what related to watershed, what David Gunn is going to be talking about, like, wake up, people, you're in a watershed,
Mhm.
where you are. So I think that'll be a good walk.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Okay, So I will get you a schedule about the other. Eco Ed series.
Sounds like
Date.
Karen almost had it all nailed down already.
Yeah, and she's trying to get an article in the Webster Kirkwood Times. Well, that was for something else.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Webster. Have you guys seen that shiny publication that comes in the paper every once in a while? It's like
Webster Groves Neighbors or whatever.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
She,
you have to ask to get that. Cause
oh,
I
I,
only knew about it because a friend was getting it and I think, well, I wanna see that, so.
oh, I get it. And I never asked.
Yeah, I
for it.
get it too.
That's cool.
Neighbors of Webster Groves.
Yeah, neighbors of Webster Groves. So right now Karen is working to get the schedule put into that document, but she said she was also working on the Webster Kirkwood Times thing. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, anything else about the Eco Ed series? Oh, well, I was saying if you guys could put those in your calendars, we all don't need to go to everyone, but it's sure nice to have help when you're there.
Do you wanna know who's
inevitably
coming
the
to what?
audio visual system doesn't work at the library or something. What'd you say?
I said, do you want to know who's coming to what? I can tell you, I'll definitely come to that watershed one and I can probably come to the tree walk too.
Why don't you email me?
Sure.
And I'll probably just wind up asking again how to, before the
No
event,
worries.
so.
Okay.
And at the library, there's usually setup, like chair setup. They usually don't have chair set up.
Right.
And then there's the AB hookup stuff, so. And even the Sustainability Commission's 3 sessions that they're gonna do, I mean, if you. Find one of those interesting, make sure to go to it to support them, but they probably need help setting up as well, so. And I think we're gonna try, I mentioned to Karen today, try to have snacks there. We haven't done that in the past before, refreshments, and then maybe give away a door prize at those events too. Like we did
The
at
books,
the workshop,
those are
yeah,
really nice.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think people like those, a lot.
Mhm.
So
At the
maybe,
walks, I mean, at.
Yeah,
the-
at all of them.
Oh, wow, okay.
maybe just a tree, I don't know, something cool.
I got that book for my dad for Christmas. I
Oh.
got one for my dad, one like of the oak, but the
Uh-huh,
telling me
uh-huh.
oak book, cause I mean.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's good.
So that's the goal for those. On a new business, then. Budget requests. So last meeting. Scott was here actually, and he said, hey, don't forget to put your budget together. So. I wanted to try and have. That, and I got that budget document out to you guys. I was hoping we could just say, yeah, this is what we want to move ahead with. We don't really get to. I mean, this is just our suggestion, right? Somebody else is the decider and gets to decide if we get any money, I would assume. So you can see the items that are in here above the. Does everybody have a copy of that with them? Most people do. Okay. Okay. So the things sort of above the 5,300 total are things that we're doing now, currently Arbor Day celebration. For the plaques and the food and maybe. Giveaway things, the Eco Ed series. If our hosts, or excuse me, if our speakers need an honorarium. That would be for them. It would be also for food and prize giveaways. Green Our City. We need some more supplies for that. Buckets, more of the magnets we created. We were kind of at one time talked about doing stickers to put on the buckets. So that people would, be reminded about the program, and then the workshops. Of which there would be one. Last year we got food and had prizes, and we had to purchase some other things for that as well. So that's what that is about. Educational project. I thought this could just support one of our initiatives and we've been talking about making videos. And we were, we didn't have a lot of time amongst us to really make that happen internally. So this number is kind of a placeholder to potentially hire someone who could help us with that video. And pollinator projects, kind of thinking, Jerry about, oh, Jerry's not on, we lost Jerry. Kind of thinking about plants to replace if we need to, any plants that got lost over the winter from our past pollinator projects. Or if we're gonna do any new pollinator planting projects. And then signage, this is kind of a placeholder. I know signs are really expensive and I know that is not an exorbitant amount for one sign. So I thought it would be great if we could to just maybe budgeting for that kind of thing so that rather than the temporary signs that we put in, like a Larson, Yvonne, if we could get something more like a permanent sign. So that we can publicize these issues and make them educational. And then the 3 items below are really just questions, maybe for you guys. There are items I don't think necessarily would be budgeted for our budget. But there are things we think are important. But do we need to plan for them? Can we just make a recommendation that these things are done or how?
Can
do
you
we?
tell us newbies about the structural soil?
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, that's kind of an up in the air project right now. Yvonne actually had started a grant some time ago and it kind of got tabled. So we went to Public Works and approached them about completing this grant. And the grant is a cost share grant from the Missouri Department of Conservation.
Oh.
And it would be for the removal of the pear trees. I think there might be 4 of them
Oh.
in front of Straub's. And taking out that sidewalk and putting structural soil in under the sidewalk. And then putting new plantings and
Yes.
native trees along the street. And that structural soil is probably the most expensive part of that project. If you purchase it outright. It can be made in, it can be constructed by Public Works, but if they don't have the time or the budget for that,
Right.
then you can purchase it. And this is the actual cost of that line item in the grant that we submitted, so, or I should say the grant that we want to submit, I'm still not
Should
sure.
be the actual cost without Public Works.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
just for the structural
Okay.
soil. It's just the bulk material being delivered.
That's not even the labor of tearing out the sidewalk or cutting
No,
the trees.
That's
the
just structural soil.
But that would be so good to do.
Yeah, so the structural soil holds up the sidewalk,
Right.
right? And it's an engineered soil so that the pavement doesn't settle funny or buckle. It's meant to be a standard, like the gravel you normally put under a sidewalk. But there's enough voids in it and organic matter that it allows roots from the trees to get oxygen and water from that area. So, it's a nice, and basically, I think MDC said they didn't want to do cost share on that project unless structural soil was used. Because that's kind of, it's not a newer technology, but there's not a lot of that application in the metro region. Is it St. Peter's? Where's Jim Mitchell work?
St. Peter's.
St. Peter's. St. Peter's has done a little bit of it, but they were doing all their structural soil mixing in-house. And I did put Public Works in contact with them, but I just thought maybe this would make it go faster. And since MDC has said they want to fund it if we can get the grant in, I just thought maybe that would help move that along.
So would that be part of the grant application then, is that we would use structural soil and it would be
Yeah.
included in?
It has, I mean, the MDC
I
is
mean, would
basically,
you include that in your proposal, the cost is in your proposal?
you would line item that as your part of the match.
So, and is that required to, is that dollar amount or that item required to be matched? I know that a match in general is required, but what is the specific match
It's
required?
the overall project.
I don't,
Like a percent of the project cost?
yes,
So I don't know. if
it's
we
like
would-
20, it's, what is, do you know what it is? It's very,
80-20.
it depends on the tiers.
Mhm.
The MDC has cost share grants and they have 3 tiers or 4?
3.
3 tiers. The people in the first tier, get a larger amount of money from MDC. And those are communities that don't have as many resources as Webster.
Right,
We're in tier 3, so I don't remember.
I think
what
it's
the-
80-20. I know like tier one's 90-10,
Okay,
and then I think it's 80-20 for tier 3.
okay,
75.
And I think the whole project was under 30,000. Project.
I don't remember.
So we had already, I'm pretty sure, had in the grant budget to do our 20% match.
So
yeah,
it's
I mean,
80-20 MDC, 80, us 20?
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
It's, I mean, even your labor and admin costs will apply towards your match.
Right,
So just submitting or, yeah. Submitting any like paperwork or talking about it with Scott or Yvonne, like those can be considered matching hours towards the grant.
right.
As well as buying the structural soil. So,
so I think that's find it, I would include it in the grant application. And from, I mean, Ron Scott can talk to this too, but from what I've seen when we get a grant award to the city. And it shows up on the agenda as we've gotten this award and we need to kick in this amount of our match or cost sharing. That typically those have been approved. So I don't know that we need to specifically say, well, that we need a separate line for the 16,000 on the city budget. I would just include that as part of the grant
And the grant.
and do the 80-20 on the whole grant.
Okay,
Include that in the other costs and everything.
okay. So,
Unless I'm
yes,
missing something.
Scott,
It's been submitted. It is an 80-20. It, the cost share, our 20% is submitted as our labor and admin cost.
And does it include the structural soil in the submission?
Correct.
is
Okay.
it the
Mix on site.
Mix on site, so Public Works is gonna mix the structural soil themselves.
Correct.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Great, okay. And what's the other item?
There's a, update to the tree inventory that we have currently. And I believe it needs to be updated, just knowing that large number of trees have come down in the past couple of years, and we've been planting trees. And basically, a lot of communities update their tree inventories like every 5 to 10 years. They like basically have a professional come in and confirm the inventory that they've been keeping and using as a tool. I'm not sure how much Public Works has been updating the inventory, so this is something that should be done eventually anyway, but it might be good to do now to sort of kickstart the use of the inventory.
So my only concern is that we'll actually kickstart it. If they're
That's a very valid concern.
going to use it and we need to get it current so that it's useful, then I could see being supportive of that. But if we're gonna update it and then it still doesn't get used, it's harder for me to support.
Is there something we could do to, I don't know, put some momentum to this
But,
as a commission?
I don't know the best way to navigate this. Cause it's not really a commission thing, right? Like,
Okay.
is it?
Well, we're green space,
No,
right?
I know, but like, we don't use the tree inventory. We plant trees.
We plant trees that we really want to go in the inventory.
Do we want to use the inventory and we can't because it's not updated, or like, how does the commission directly interact or want to interact with the inventory?
We don't necessarily want to interact directly, other than we want, correct me if I'm wrong, our trees to go in the inventory that we've planted.
Yeah,
And then also to pull data out of the inventory that would say like, here's planting sites. This is where we took out the last 100 trees. Go talk to these people about getting a tree.
yeah.
So it's not that we want to get in the inventory and work on it.
That's not what I meant.
Oh,
I meant
okay.
like benefit from or.
Yeah. How do you,
In the system.
anything you want to add to that?
No,
I,
it's, the inventory is as good as if anybody's gonna utilize it.
Yes.
yes,
Right.
The last time I had inventory done was in 2019. I worked for Public Works. I kept the inventory up until I left in 2020. What's happened to it since then? I don't know. I know recently we actually became admins of the inventory. Todd Ray, the ex-Public Works director, allowed us to gain access to start putting in the trees that we start planting.
like.
We don't have- We don't have the time, and it's not our inventory. We're just the Green Space Advisory Committee, just making an advisory suggestion, so.
You still-
Scott, is that something that would go in, like? How would you navigate that, Scott? Is that a Vera question? Is that a Dr. Peoples question?
Yeah, that would be, it would live with City Public Works. They own all the right of way trees. Veer
They
and I
have
are meeting.
Yeah, they have the inventory now.
They do have it. I don't know. It's not my inventory, so I haven't been in it. I don't know how recently it's been updated, what they've been using it for. I know Veer last week I was talking with her and she was actually trying to find the passwords because she didn't have passwords for it. Todd did. And so she was trying to get a hold of those passwords. So actually, Joe, it's kind of nice that you said that you may have a way in. We may need
Well,
to
we have
borrow
a-
your password to get into
If
create
you-
new passwords.
If you email me, Scott, I can put you in contact with the person from Davy who can help you with that.
Yeah.
Easily. So
as
that's
far as like
good.
the budget process goes, I don't,
That
I mean,
should live
we-
in
you
Public
know-
Works budget.
Public Works, okay. Well, and we're going to, I think, maybe I'll just put you on the spot while you're on, Scott. Are we gonna meet with you guys on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay, so, just kind of earlier I mentioned we're gonna be meeting with, Public Works about the Green Our City planting and the schedule for this year. So maybe we could talk more about the inventory then with Vera. And just stress to her the importance of that as a tool, and I don't know if we need to, if. Like you said, there's no point in putting $16,000 into the inventory if it's not gonna be used.
well, yeah, I would see how the meeting goes on Thursday, see what Vera wants to do, and if it sounds like she's trying to get into it, so if that's something she wants updated, I would think, Scott, as part of the budget process, it would go in Public Works budget request.
I would think so as well. I would agree with that.
That way, and
And that is definitely something that MDC will fund
Yeah.
in a grant.
Yeah,
And that's how we got the
That's-
inventory the first
that's what
time,
they
was
want.
a grant.
they do
So that's-
cost share as
so
well.
that's a different thing than asking for it in the budget. That's like saying we wanna put a grant in and then we might need to cost share it, as
Okay.
opposed to like, we wanna outright pay to update it. I think the city has been pretty supportive of putting in grants and cost share.
I mean, these are things we would like to see done, but just don't know which way to go,
Yeah.
basically.
I think it's good to bring up on Thursday.
Okay.
I do have a question up on top. The Greener City, I thought our supplies for all of this came from the tree.
That's a really good question.
Like what you call it from,
The tree fund.
yes.
That is a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. So when we I think we need some clarification on that. I don't know who to point at to get clarification, but not that you guys have the answers, but I think if you guys can find the answers for us. In the past, the money for the trees and the mulch and the buckets and the magnets and the printing stuff we did, I thought came out of the tree fund. Cause I did not have to create any kind of, I didn't have to apply for the funding for those things. And this last go around for the tags, the hang tags we got to help market the program. I applied using the new form that we have to use for funds. And I gave that to Yvonne and she gave it to Dr. Peoples, and Dr. Peoples asked why we weren't using GSAC funds to purchase those. And I gave her my reasoning and she said, I think we need to use GSAC funds to do that. So where should this money that I'm asking for
Well,
the,
if she told you it should be, that's what it should be.
well, was that just for the tags?
It all depends on what it is you're asking for. The tree fund is there to buy new plant material, trees and shrubs and bushes. That's how the ordinance is written. So a shovel to help plant the tree is not shouldn't be in there. So that would need to come out of a separate fund.
Well, I guess I would like to talk about this more, because I've read that language and I guess I have a little bit of different take on it than that, but I guess ultimately, we don't care where the money's coming from. Right?
Who is, I mean, who creates the tree fund?
The tree, that's another good question. So, I don't know, maybe you can describe that
It comes
better.
From, so when someone builds a new house in Webster Groves, they have to do a tree preservation plan. And if they want to take down trees, they have to pay a sort of penalty into the tree.
Oh, so, okay, and then, so that money is paid to,
It goes into an account with the city,
with the
and then the
city.
city uses it to plant trees in the green spaces, parks. And
So like the
Yeah.
500 trees that were planted last year in Blackburn Park, probably.
those we got them through forest relief,
Oh, okay,
so we didn't have to pay for
but
those.
something, a project like that.
For instance,
Could
in
be
the
covered.
business district, we replaced a bunch of trees this year, so that money came out of that.
So the tree fund is something that's, it stands apart from Green Space Advisory Council,
Right.
Parks Department.
Right.
Yes.
Public
And it is-
Works,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
just separate,
The tree.
the city.
Yeah, it's a really great thing
Well,
that we
yeah.
have, right?
Right.
To put green back in the right of ways and
Right,
parks, and Yvonne does a good job planting in the parks. But that's why we wanted to plant trees in the right of way.
common spaces, right.
Right, but in the past, Scott, Dr. Peoples approved, and maybe I just didn't know where the money was coming from, which is possible, but I thought all of last year's supplies came from the tree fund, the buckets, the magnets,
Mulch.
the mulch, the trees.
We're trying to clean up some of our processes and all of
Okay.
historically, the commissions all lived underneath the department whose liaison they were. So Green Space and Parks and Recreation Commission lived underneath the Parks and Recreation budget, and any funding you got came directly out of our budget. Last year, we combined all of the commissions throughout the city and started a new line item in the budget for all those commissions. We're trying to further refine that this year and give each commission its own budget if they request such, and city council agrees to fund those requests so that we can track and better define and report out on what each commission is using, what they're doing with their funds, and have some accountability on where those funds are going easier. So that's why we came out, last meeting I asked you guys to, if you're looking for budget money, to put it together so we can have it by this meeting so that we can try to put it in for end of the month when I have to submit all those budgets to finance, and then we'll start
Right.
collaborating, pulling all those together. So that's kind of what the process has been. So yes, it has been fluid over the last couple of years. The tree fund used to be used for more items. The tree fund for a while had a very healthy dollar amount, up in the $40,000 ranges. We've been spending that money down, and it's not quite as large anymore. That tree fund also holds escrow amount. So when you buy your house, you put in escrow money to say that you won't cut down your trees for the first year either. So those escrow funds are in there also. So some of that money that's in that fund is liability money that has to go back to new homeowners or people that are doing commercial renovations and such. So not all the money that's in that fund, if you see that line item, and I don't know exactly what it is right now, maybe Yvonne, do you know, maybe 18,000 or
It's
something
about
like that?
18, yeah.
Yeah. So some of that money that's in there is liability money that has to go back out, and some of it will stay for any of those folks that can't replace all the same inches of caliper trees on their own property after they do a home renovation. If they take down, a 20-inch tree, they can't replace, 10 2-inch trees, then they can make the monetary contribution for X amount of those inches. And that's what lives in that tree fund that then we can use to go put more trees and shrubbery in right of ways and parks.
So if there was, I don't know, $40,000 2 years ago, or would you say that's about right?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, yeah.
And we're down to 18 now, and we've only planted 40,
50.
50 trees in the right of way. I know some of those trees are planted in the park.
Yes.
I guess that is a big question for me then, like, if that money is only supposed to be spent on trees and mulch, where did the rest of that money go?
Well, again, a lot of it's liability money that has to go back to the homeowners if they don't take trees down. If they end up replanting on their own property, then they get that money back. So a lot of that's liability
We buy
money that
trees
goes.
for the parks too. At any given time, we might buy 40 to 60, but good size 3-inch caliber trees for the parks. And then for tree care as well. So when we have some more.
Oh, tree care.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could go for tree care. So tree source and landscapes come in and do, like, for instance, we had that huge oak tree that
Yeah.
wiped out
That's
at Larson,
expensive.
and there was all kinds of catastrophe.
Okay, so it's
they do
not
tree care.
just
It can be used. for
planting trees, tree
for the
care.
of trees,
Okay,
That's good to know.
for the care of trees.
When the fund is healthy, we can use it for some of those tree care type of things too.
okay,
But as that fund gets spent down, there's only so many dollars left.
okay. So but would the money, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Right, I think
Whether
we
our
make
trees
the
come
request
from
for what we need and then finance. will
Well, our
figure out-
trees are not included in here. Right? Our this money that's green our city is just the supply, like the tag.
Yeah.
So do I need to request for the trees as well? And the mulch?
Weren't we getting the trees from Forest Relief again?
Oh, we didn't get them from forest relief in the past.
The last 2 years was from site one. We want to get trees from forest
But it would
relief.
still be contract growing, so those aren't the small 3-gallon, they're more like a 15-gallon.
And we still need mulch.
I guess my guess would be, you'd have to get permission to buy out of the tree fund, but that would be sort of a direct use of that. If the fund has money.
We should have a full budget, a full reckoning of what we're asking for. So if the trees aren't included in there, then we need to actually put a dollar amount in there, even though we're going to request those out of the tree fund. I still need to be able to show that in there somewhere so that we know, what else is maybe coming out of the tree fund,
Trees.
so that we can make those decisions.
Okay,
Glad I asked about that.
yeah.
Like, will you need help with that, Carrie, or you got it?
I think I got it because I have numbers from last year's, I mean, I'll just tack on some percentage to that.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so if I could get these numbers in the next. Weeks.
Yeah, okay, so. it Seems like. If it's the grant thing, we're gonna. Talk to Vera about that on. Actually, I can talk to her about it on Thursday,
Inventory.
right, for the inventory, or the structural. Well, we don't need to talk about structural soils, that's being done. And I won't even bring up this last item right now. The other items, I guess I would like to do just, I don't even know if we need a vote. Does anybody have any questions about the stuff that's above?
I have one question.
Yeah.
It's silly, so then it's a very serious question. We should raise it.
Anybody have any very serious questions about the budget?
Well,
And this is, again, this is just our request.
yeah, no, not about the budget, but about the management structure. It's very complicated.
Do you need to get to request the budget? Well, I think it's changed. It sounds like it's changing, which probably sounds like it's changing for the better, because they're
I
kind of
hope so.
tightening up their processes, which
Yeah.
is always good. And we now have a process to request funds. And I'm kind of, I've never looked at our money this way before. And I don't think it was considered that much before. I mean, Ginger, you would know what.
We used to have like around a $500 or $300 budget, and there was a 500, and like just in the last few years, it was bumped up to 1,000. But
So
like,
I think this process was a really good one.
this
to-
is, I'm liking it,
Yeah, that they're going through,
appreciating, I'm appreciating this.
oh. So. We're going with the flow. I'm
Oh, well, no, I definitely think it's flowing in the right direction.
good.
That's for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
okay. Any
Especially
other?
the Strauss thing. I mean, oh my God, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, that might already be,
Looks like it's go.
yes.
Scott, do you know what the timeline is on hearing on that grant for the, no?
I do not. It's been submitted, but I haven't heard anything back from. Originally submitted it last fall, and Mark from Conservation had some questions, and I resubmitted and gave him some more details and some more answers. But I have not heard back since. That was fairly recently, but I haven't heard back since then. A, if they still have funding available in their current budget cycle, and B, if they're willing to fund that grant. Although I think they were pretty excited about the grant. So if it's not, like, if we don't hear back from them, later this winter, early this spring, I would assume that that it would be they keep those grants in pocket if they run out of funding, and then they're at the top of the to-do list in their next funding cycle. Which I believe they're still on the same funding cycle fiscal year that we are.
I think so too. What's your,
What about our parade float?
What did you say?
you're right,
What about our
not
parade
in
float?
here.
We need to budget.
We should add that to the budget.
Yeah. I don't know how much we spent last year, but we didn't spend zero.
No, we did not. We bought big banners
Yeah.
that cost a couple $100, I think. Okay, that's a good call, Corin, and we gotta have some good, Horns.
Horn, yeah, well, it doesn't
so
break.
you don't
halfway
break
through.
my
I'm
horn.
sorry about that.
I have a cowbell.
We had fun last year at the parade float.
Okay, well, I guess before I put a line item in here, who's volunteering to be in the parade? Looks like Corin is.
If Carrie.
Oh. I'll be in the parade,
Okay.
the 4th of July parade.
Yeah,
Heck, yeah.
okay, so we'll have,
I'll think about it.
Maybe we can have a slightly bigger one this year.
maybe. Okay, I will put that line item in there.
Point of information on that one, I print all the sides of the city council's parade float in-house so that it's not hundreds of dollars. I'm not sure if you guys, if I've got that right, that you guys spent hundreds of dollars of your own money on buying banners to hang off the sides. But if that's something that we've got a 24 by 36 large format printer, and I printed several of those and stitched them together to make, you know, the big one that went
Was it?
down the side of a 20-foot trailer for city council.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Is it waterproof?
Okay, Scott will print.
No, but it's just one day. So
Okay, yeah. It works.
Good thing we brought.
it may not look tremendous 4 miles in or 3 miles into it at the end of it if folks are sweating on the top of it and whatnot, but
Sure.
it looks good at the beginning.
That's all that matters.
Okay,
I do have an update. My friend got back to me, and I forwarded Christy Edwards' name to Corin.
Okay.
That's who she thinks we need to contact. She has a daughter in second grade at Edgar and another kiddo at Hickson in sixth grade. But anyway, I sent him the number, so thank you. If you don't mind, like reaching out to her.
Yep, I'll try.
Do you know her? I don't know if
I don't think
Violet,
so,
that's
but
second grade. I feel like we should know.
probably should.
Violet in second grade,
I know.
because our kids are in second grade. Wow.
Yeah.
okay, back to the budget then.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you for doing. I guess I just wanna. If someone could make a motion, if you all agree to just move ahead, well. I'm gonna move ahead with this budget with the trees added and the float added.
Yes,
I'll make a motion
And
second.
to do that.
to do those two things, so I'm gonna submit this budget that's showing. Adding a line item for the parade and adding our trees and mulch to the Green RCD number. We all vote. So we have a motion, everyone in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye, where's the aye? Okay. I will try and get this to you by the end of the week. Sure.
Wait, Ginger, did you stop and talk to this person when you walked by me today?
No, that was Annalee.
Okay,
I'll tell you that story later. It's really funny.
okay.
Okay, the next item of new business is, the Healthy Living Expo. This was brought to our attention at the subcommittee meeting with the Sustainability Commission. There is a Healthy Living Expo put on by the Healthy Planet every year, and it's held at the rec center. I think that Sustainability Commission wants to attend that as a way to advertise all things sustainable. And they reached out to us and asked if we wanted to chip in for the price of the table and then advertise our things there as well. The chipping in would be $75. And I
Do we have that in our budget to spend?
yeah, we can afford that. I'm assuming they would also like somebody to be there. I said to Karen, I don't know if anyone's gonna have the time to hang out at the table, and she said, well, I'm gonna be there, so I could. You know, if you guys have stuff you want to put out at the table, she'd be
That's a-
happy to talk about
That's a
it,
Sunday,
April 14th.
Sunday.
So I guess. I don't have a real strong opinion about it. Has anybody been to the Healthy Living Expo?
I've been to it in years past. It's a lot of chiropractors and massage therapists and vitamins.
Feel like it's like a vendor focused thing.
There are information, at the times I went, there were informational tables, but it is largely vendors. People promoting water purifiers or.
I guess
Like all we would have are flyers and stuff, right? We don't really have swag. I mean, I'd maybe will be willing to go for part of the time, but I cannot sit there for 6 hours.
Well, I don't, unless there's a really like oh yeah, we gotta be there, I'm gonna say we pass on it.
I'm okay
Doesn't
with,
really sound like our.
I'm okay with that.
Doesn't feel like that would scale really.
What?
I said it doesn't really feel like that would scale for us, like reaching people.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's okay if we say no to some stuff like that.
We do a lot.
all right.
So
Thank you.
But no
but
thanks.
thank you.
Yes.
I would make a suggestion that you drop off some flyers and we'll put them in the flyer rack by the front door and people can grab them if that's all you were gonna do is
Yeah,
set
that
out
would be-
flyers.
Like how you,
Okay.
yes,
Save yourself $75 in 6 hours.
yes, Scott, I like how you think.
What size is the flyer rack?
Normal paper,
8.5 by
copy paper,
11?
8.5 by 11.
Print some big old things, parade sized.
Okay, well. Maybe. We could promote one of our initiatives. Through that venue.
Yeah.
If we get those initiatives. Schedules tied down and have dates to promote.
Could promote on April 14th, coming on April 17th.
Yeah, it is right before the.
Plant trees.
Yeah, I'll think about that. Yeah, I was thinking like the Eco Ed series, we get all those dates pinned down.
And you already have a flight, right? Like you'll be making maybe, are we not?
Well, Karen Anderson is working with Jen Starkey
Okay.
and has. Filled out the request to meet with her, work with her for other flyers, so they're gonna be individual flyers, I think, but. We could make a flyer that has all the dates on it.
Oh, no, I mean, that, it's so fluid. I don't think that's something to undertake before,
Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to think about what
Yeah.
I would have time for.
Right.
And what would make it-
The individual flyer.
I mean, part of me thinks it'd be better to make a flyer that just says sign up on Civic Rack for greenkeepers, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Get the word out more generally about what we're doing,
Do you like healthy living? Come to our events.
something like that, yeah. You design it, huh?
Yeah. Hit me up in late March, early April, probably down.
Right, okay. Thanks, but no thanks, all right, council liaison update.
Mostly we've got the election coming up, so that's right on. I think maybe I talked last week, last month, we've got 3 people running, we've got 3 seats, we've got 10 charter, amendments on the ballot. None of them seem super, spiky. Yeah, like they seem okay. So good questions about any of those.
Actually, I do have a question about that, but
About.
I'll ask when you.
Okay. And then we've got Proposition W for the destination WG, which is a Parks and Rec fund, no tax increase. Main feature of that is replacing the other pool Parks and Rec will be part of that too. The individual projects aren't all finalized, but ideas are like something to fund a good Ivory Pocket, a new walking trail. There's some ideas about doing trying to remember what it a sanctuary space, like sanctuary gardens, like this is a pollinator zone.
Habitat.
Like a habitat kind of sanctuary, it wasn't something, but
That's the
Yeah.
thing Dr.
yeah,
People
so
gave
there's
us.
a whole, then everybody gets.
I sent that
yeah,
around to
so,
everyone.
um,
Did anybody have any questions in particular about any of that?
Lots of
I did.
cool ideas out there.
I said.
What is the park with GRG that's on there?
That is the old McDonald's location.
Oh, okay.
You know, so Green Rivers, Greenway, owns that now. and
Yeah, yeah.
that's
I'm familiar with that one.
And then Webster could take it over and do
Right.
stuff there. And then also the idea about making, not just like one accessible park, but like making more of our playgrounds accessible. Maybe accessible for kiddos and well, for anybody really, but, so that's another cool thing that's out there. So that'll be on the April ballot too, and it's no tax increase because we're like paid off some of our bigger bonds for street projects and firehouse too, and so go out for, I know, an increased bond, just some cool stuff at all parks and rec, focus, so. I think that's probably the only, the end of my updates. unless
Okay.
Somebody has questions. You said you had
I do have a
questions
question about
charter?
the charter. So, I just want to make sure I was understanding what I was reading. This is about the city council persons and how they're appointed or voted.
That is not on the ballot for this April.
Okay, maybe I really misunderstood it then. Okay, I'll have
You
to
mean
look
like,
back at
like the wards versus at
Yeah.
large, yeah, that is not on this ballot.
Okay,
So this ballot had, so the Charter Review Advisory Board came up with a number of recommendations for things that they recommended that go on the ballot at some point in time.
okay,
There are a lot.
okay,
So city council went through and said, let's do this batch first. And
Okay.
this batch is like updating language, bringing ourselves in compliance with state law, like nothing that, harmonizing stuff. There is like we did expand the preamble a little bit, but there's nothing in it that is super controversial, like, or super, people would talk a lot about like the question of boards versus at large. There has not been
I was
a big
looking at the-
uptake from city council on moving that issue forward.
okay.
That's the big question.
That's a big question.
Yeah. Oh, there's one bigger or
Uh,
as big?
I was just looking at the Friday page and somehow I drilled into that.
Oh,
as
yeah.
A thing.
yeah, if you go to the city's website, on there under like news and announcements, I think there's an election thing, or it might be even below that, but on the main city's website, if you scroll up, there's like a little ballot box.
Mhm.
And that'll have a link to the
Exactly.
10 that are on there. Council member pay is another one that we'll probably have some discussion around it when it comes up. But that's not on this ballot either.
Okay.
$1 million each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think most people realize how low it is.
I think we all think it's zero, and it pretty much is.
Yeah, it's like, I think I get $25 a meeting, up to $600 a year.
My adjunct to pay.
I just don't think anyone knows how much time you spend.
It hasn't been changed since the 50s.
Oh, wow.
The crowd was like, we really need to fix this, and we do for a number of reasons, not because I'm looking for a paycheck, but you want people to be able to serve, and you could never pay for a babysitter or transportation with that, so it really limits you to be able to run. So I think it's a very worthwhile issue and one that should definitely go in front of the voters. It's just not on the.
Sorry, I had no idea.
It's okay.
My God.
So that proposal would bring it more in line with, our neighboring municipalities, but it's not on this April one. It'll probably be on, I would guess it'd be on November. Another one, but yeah.
Okay. And I do have a question about this too.
I do too.
Okay, so this says. Other projects likely to be included, installing new walking paths in Southwest Larson and Memorial Parks. Are those in new walking paths? Totally new, or are those just repaving some existing paths?
Scott?
Yeah, those are mostly totally new. They might connect a little bit to some of the ones that are already there, such as Southwest has the little walking path that goes from the parking lot to the restroom. This path might connect behind the restroom and then go down the hill and then back up along to the west, and
Like
then
a loop.
back up. So it'd be a whole new loop down there.
What about
Uh,
Larson?
I'd have to remember where that was at off the top of my head. I'm failing to remember exactly where that's at, but it was mostly a new. I mean, it will connect to some of the pathways that's already still there, but I'm not exactly sure where that one was going off the top of my head. I apologize for that. The
No, that's
Memorial
okay.
one is, but the Memorial one is mostly just around the ball fields. You know, use the sidewalks that are already there, but likely something along the eastern edge of the field so parents could walk a loop while their kids are out there practicing on a random Tuesday night or whatever. They could put in some mileage.
I'm putting on my landscape architect hat, which I'm sure is really gonna annoy you right now. But the plans for Larson, is there a way to see these potential plans?
They were in our CIP budget, which was posted. I'm trying to look that one up right now on my phone, which is not the easiest thing to do to see it on my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. And not all of these haven't been designed yet. So the exact layout of where they may go, you know, this is my Mad Hatter design, but I haven't actually gotten landscape architects or engineers involved to make sure soil conditions and all that good stuff are right on them yet. So a lot of the plans on Prop W on the smaller dollar amount ones, or even the performance park, which is you know, a bigger ticket item, have not been fully designed or haven't been designed at all yet. There's something that we would like to do, and we need to get more public input on those. And then if y'all vote affirmative for Prop W, then we'll be able to hire those architects and engineers and planners to start laying out a lot of those specific details.
Yeah, it might help to kind of go over the overall process for how this thing has kind of been happening.
Yeah.
So we first had to figure out, like, are we gonna go out for a bond issue, and how, if we do, how much should it be? So we got a list of projects that could fall under this, and we're like, oh, well, we liked these and we like these. And then the total amount of those was what, you know, like, we're like, we know we wanna go out for basically the max amount that we can go out for. So then we go out for the bond. And it's a Parks and Rec theme, and then if it passes, then each of these projects will have to get decided on, are we going to do this, or are we not, and then public input and design and all that, so these aren't like, you know, we've got everything ready to go and we just need the vote, like the vote is earlier in the process. So there'll be like lots of time for public input, talking about plans.
While we're still talking about this, if I can ask one question too, like Scott, do you consider the creek when you guys are thinking about these flat surfaces at both like Larson and Southwest? That would be a consideration. Like we've got all the flooding.
Well, for sure, yes, we would not want to put that, you know, right on the creek bank where it would flood out. I did just pull up the one from Larson, and it's from the tennis courts. From the parking area in the tennis courts down behind the ball field there, the baseball backstop, and then turns left and goes over towards the pavilions and playgrounds, because there's not really a sidewalk along the front edge of that park there. So if you get up to the tennis courts, that would get you through to the middle of the park, and then there's, you know, walking trails over to the other side of the park, closer to the golf course and the other ball field. So that's what Larson was, but yes, obviously when we go to plan these, we'll be making sure that they're not going to go in any places that are going to get damaged and destroyed by the next flood, which hopefully doesn't happen for another 100 to 500 years, but in reality we'll probably have 4. So
yeah, we don't want them to get flooded, and we also don't want to like exacerbate any flooding too.
Right.
Yeah, like each of these are gonna get fleshed out, and there's some things that are on that likely projects list that I'm like, I'm not sure that's actually a likely project, like, I don't know. The amphitheater is a really big project, so I think it's too soon to put that in the likely, like, to happen, a new project could happen, it's an idea, but like, that's gonna be, that's a big ticket item, that's gonna need a lot of discussion. And, it would have operating costs that go with it, which has been other items that we've talked about, so. So I would just say like, these are things that it could be, these are ideas that we have, but like, there's a lot to be done with those. But, it's not really worth going forward with planning them specifically if we aren't gonna have the funds to do them.
That makes sense. So Dr. People sent us this, so we could be versed on some of the issues and, you know, if you want to talk about it and get the word out about it, here's your truth.
She emailed that to us, right?
I want all these things.
Well, then make sure you get people to vote, yeah. right?
Every single one.
Next up is bond issue.
And if I
Okay,
can throw one other plug, we did just order yard signs that have a little bit of information, but mostly a QR tag, which will throw people back to the city's website. We will have those available in the next couple days for people to pick up if you'd like to put one in your yard. We're going to be putting a bunch of them out around the parks and city buildings. It's just informational. It doesn't ask you to vote yes or vote no, or even to just go vote. It's just a straight informational piece. But it'll tag people back to the website where they can find all those answers, and there'll be a lot more marketing coming out in the upcoming weeks. There'll be a couple media posts or social media posts weekly that'll be coming out. That'll be giving key piece of information on each of these projects and how we're moving forward, so that we can answer as many questions as the residents have on the projects that we're proposing and how that will all shake out. So lots
Those
more
will be at
information
City
coming.
Hall? Those are at City Hall? Or
They'll
rec
be at
center?
City Hall and or the rec center. I don't
Okay.
have a solid answer for you yet, but as soon as I find that information, I can have Yvonne send it out to you all. Likely the rec center will be the place to pick them up, I think.
Okay. I'll put one up.
I have one question about this too. May I?
yes,
This first item, eco-friendly LED lighting on athletic fields. That's excellent, but it also connects up nicely with the whole dark skies thing.
Mhm.
So this might suggest, I was glad to hear this is like early in the process, so for developing. Maybe this gives us a rough timeline on dark skies planning. That we would want to talk to the city about dark skies before this goes through, not the proposition, but like
Yeah,
the plan.
yeah,
So that when this is put in, we just make sure it's consistent
well,
with.
I'm guessing that's one of the topics that they're gonna have a lot of discussions
Sure.
about, because lighting is a big issue, right? So it might be a good opportunity to
Yeah.
make
Makes sense. We
recommendations.
should probably weigh in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Good point.
Nice, thank you.
Any other questions about Emily's up? It's your turn, Yvonne.
I don't have anything other than, just a fun little event happened on Saturday. The Webster Groves Nature Studies Society donated revamped the sign at Blackburn at the top of the bird sanctuary. There's a marquee and they revamped it and put in some all new literature.
Nice.
And probably about 20 people show up for the dedication. So if you get a chance to go look at it, they worked really hard on it. And so hopefully it'll stay in good shape for a while.
Griffin just is getting ready to meet with the Eagle Board of Review for his bat houses going in at Blackburn, so
Okay.
he'll be in more touch with you.
Okay, sounds.
That's exciting. I just wanted to throw that on there.
Right. And I guess that's it. Our next meeting is March 4th. Is that right? Joe, you just gave me a funny.
No, just thinking about something.
Okay. March 4th here. And does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Emily seconds it. And we're all voting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Night.
Thank you, good night.
After we finish the recording, I have a question.